With the rumored release date of Wuthering Waves making the rounds online, many are expressing nervous concerns on whether the date is too soon for the perceived changes that need to be made to the game. This rumor came about when the Epic Games Store listed Wuthering Waves to be released on May 30th, roughly 2.5 months from now. Whether or not this is true is all up to speculation, however it does align with my own projections on the most beneficial release window for Wuthering Waves. As if they wait any longer, they run the risk of releasing alongside big names that will take attention away from a detrimental launch period for WuWa. I do think a lot of the concern is hyperbolic that make it seem like WuWa is in no way ready for a successful launch. Some are even saying that it is dead on arrival in its current state and needs another 6 to 9 months to make major changes. As I have played the closed beta and have followed a variety of creators also playing the closed beta for way longer than I have, there have been none who have shared such an extreme opinion. In fact, the most common opinion that I've seen and that I agree with is that if it were to launch in its current state, WuWa would still be a good game, just not the best it could be. The primary reason holding it down is the ecosystem as it is now. However, most agree that the changes that need to be made are number adjustments and quality of life fixes, none of which would suggest a complete overhaul of the system that would require additional months of work. In fact, there is nothing in WuWa right now that really requires a total overhaul and restructuring to justify a longer and riskier wait period. WuWa certainly needs its polishing to truly shine, but we are in no way, shape, or form looking to a similar situation as CBT1, which called for a total restructure of most of the game. Kurogame is well aware of the localization and optimization issues encountered in the closed beta test, as prior to it going live, they put out a notice of known issues that they are still working on. All of the major feedback points brought up so far, even the proposed adjustments to the ecosystem, can very much be reasonably adjusted or fixed in the current 2.5 month time frame. The closed beta has been live for a couple weeks now, and it's not like Kuro has decided to go on holiday in that time frame, as even the closed beta test has had several updates and patches through its short lifespan. But there is good reason to believe that May 30th is the latest Kuro can push for a successful launch date. A gacha's launch period is perhaps the most important time in its lifespan, as it will need its first few weeks to appeal to as many players as it can to establish a core player base that will keep the engine running. This means that Kuro will need to have a window where as many large content creators can stream their game to as many people as possible. There are a lot of content creators who will focus on WuWa, coming either from Genshin or other gachas or from PGR, and these creators will be important for the longevity of the community. But they are not the most important for the launch, as they're going to be playing the game no matter when it comes out, myself included. Kuro's going to want larger variety streamers who stream to tens of thousands of people to cover the launch of WuWa, and that isn't going to happen if they try to release at the same time as other popular games backed by companies that have way more money to sponsor people with. And while these variety streamers won't stay on board for the long term, just getting WuWa into the sights of their massive audiences can then push their audience to seek out WuWa creators as they get hooked on the game. And if we look at the total potential release windows for WuWa, we can see that the end of May makes the most sense. The closed beta looks to be riding out until the end of March, so March is off the table. April is too soon, as presumably the closed beta will just have concluded, and they do need some time to work on implemented changes before going live with a full release. Genshin Impact is also releasing Arlecchino, one of the most anticipated villains for like 2 years now, and will have completely occupied Genshin creators. May seems to be a rather quiet month with not much going on, so it is a prime candidate for release. June is going to see the release of Elden Ring's DLC, and Kuro will have absolutely no shot of getting larger streamers to stream WuWa over Elden Ring DLC, resulting in upwards to over 100,000 plus potential viewers not even learning about WuWa. July is a possibility, however there runs a risk of Elden Ring DLC bleeding over into the month of July, depending on how much content that DLC will offer, and it will be Genshin's final patch before Natlan releases, so if that comes with another Dainsleif story quest, the gacha creators will likely favor Genshin over WuWa at that time. August is then going to bring the Natlan region to Genshin Impact, and historically the new region updates for Genshin have been absolutely massive, and there's no guarantee that content will drop by September to have a WuWa release, and their absolute deadline is in October, as their licensing will expire by then if they don't launch the game, which would then require them to reapply and have to wait an untold amount of time before they can have the option to release their game again, which would be the worst case scenario, as such a delay would kill all hype for WuWa and actually threaten its success. So the most risk-free release window is the end of May, as the larger variety creators can cover the game practically unchallenged until the Elden Ring DLC drops, which will be plenty of time to expose hundreds of thousands of potential players to WuWa. Genshin will also be in a dry period as they wait for the Dainsleif and Natlan update, allowing Genshin creators to expose their audiences to WuWa gameplay as well. WuWa doesn't need to be perfect to be successful. In fact, chasing perfection will only lead to development hell and the game never seeing the light of day, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be improvements that need to be made. Its first impressions will certainly be detrimental to its long-standing success. We don't want another Tower of Flop situation. However, WuWa shows no signs of being anything like the state of Tower of Fantasy at launch. Hell, I would consider WuWa right now to even be leagues ahead of Genshin. Whether the rumor of WuWa releasing at the end of May is true or not, I don't think it is as big a mistake as the naysayers are claiming it to be. There's still plenty of work to be done, but the window of opportunity for a massive WuWa launch is quickly closing. I'll be sure to keep you all updated on future WuWa news if a release date is confirmed in the coming weeks. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified for my latest videos. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I want to thank you all for watching.